The Policy Exchange report states that extremist literature was found in 25 out of the 100 mosques researchers visited. Our research into 5 of these locations has revealed serious doubts about the way this work was carried out in the name of policy exchange, and 3 receipts even suggest evidence of forgery. Given the influential status of this think tank and its report, surely this must be cause for concern.
Well, Dean Godson, Research Director of the Policy Exchange, is with us now. Did you check that these receipts were genuine?
Of course. We checked into everything that we did. We're very confident in all of this. This remains the most important report that's ever been produced on Islamic literature in this country. We never based this report on the receipts. You don't find a mention of the receipts in the report. This was a belt and brace section. But there's a bigger thing here, Jeremy, because you've had 17 minutes with which to do this package. We're entitled to say something.
You're saying that this key piece of evidence, which determined the authenticity of documents which formed the basis of a highly inflammatory report, that their authenticity doesn't matter?
No, I didn't say that. I said they never appear in our report.
You claim you checked them. Did it not strike you as odd that 6 of them were produced on an inkjet printer? Did it strike you as odd that?
Let me say something to you. This report remains the best of it. It was reported everywhere. It was reported.
The fact that it was reported everywhere has nothing to do with whether it was accurate or not, does it?
Your editor, Peter Barron, made a disastrous editorial misjudgment bottling out of publishing this report.
I'll tell you why he didn't publish it. He didn't publish it for the very reasons just adduced, which is to say that there are serious doubts about the authenticity of the receipts upon which this evidence is supposedly based. That's why.
Let me tell you something. They are not, as you can see yourself, they are not denying for one moment this list. Look at the Wickham Centre. Here is the book they have. Women Who Deserve to Go to Hell. They don't deny it. This is the important
thing. They do deny it. Again, that is
no, they're not. He said it's on the shelf. No, Jeremy, you're not in command of the fact.
One man said that it was indeed. That particular book, I believe, was on sale at his particular institution. The others deny it.
Well, let's go through it. Let's go through it case by case, because we'll rebut it.
All right, let's go through it case by case. How is it that 2 receipts from institutions 10 miles apart are produced by someone with the same handwriting?
Well, your graphologist states in her report, which we have seen, that in fact there is no such certainty. The sample is way too small. They were produced by entirely different teams of researchers.
Can you explain to us how it is that a receipt from an institution in High Wycombe appears to have been produced at the same time and in the same place as a receipt from an institution in Parsons Green, 40 miles away?
Neither of these institutions deny the literature concern, nor does the one in Parsons Green.
That's not my question. My question is about the authenticity of the receipt.
I'm coming on to that. You have had these receipts for weeks. We have asked for a chance to have a look at the receipts. You have not.
We raised these concerns with you 6 weeks ago.
No, you did not. You did raise them only today in respect of the evidence.
6 weeks ago they were raised with you.
No. Some of the concerns were raised then, but the concerns have been changing the whole time.
Oh, so some of them were. You just said they weren't.
No, this concern was never raised.
Now you say some of them were.
Some of them were, but not the ones that you've just raised. The question you have just asked, in respect of them being written in the same location, was only raised today. We have only had 1.5 hours to look at this.
You apparently had already checked these receipts.
Yes, we checked them, and we are highly satisfied with them.
2 of them, according to a woman who appears in court, has the full confidence of the British judicial system, is a registered forensic expert in this field, attest that they were written at the same place and the same time, and they're 40 miles apart.
How many? There are many reasons that could be.
Oh, really? Just tell me one of them.
Well, let me run through them for you. First of all, we have only had 1.5 hours in which to respond.
That's nothing to do with it.
Well, it is a great deal to do with it, because it has a great deal to do with the shoddy methodology, which has been characterised Newsnight's entire conduct.
There is nothing shoddy about this. You had there a woman recognised by the English legal system saying that they were written at the same time and same place.
And it is normal in these cases to double-check the matter and to check more than one opinion. Why have you not checked it?
What is the answer?
How many of these other... How many receipts have you had a chance to check it? We have checked them, we are satisfied with them, but we do not base our report on the receipts. We base our report
So you also did your own forensic analysis, did you?
No, we don't do forensic analysis. We can't be. You don't do forensic analysis very often for your reports either. We have a quite different approach. We have the witness evidence of these books, being seen by our researchers, and the vast bulk of them
Being
not
seen
denied.
by, of course, is not the same. They are
They are
attesting that they
on
were
sale
bought.
on the websites.
They are attesting
They are on
that
sale
they
on the
bought.
websites of these mosques.
Websites are another matter. You are claiming that you had evidence that these books had been bought in these mosques.
Yes, and they're
And
not
that
enough.
evidence is quite clearly, in expert opinion, fabricated.
No, we do not accept that for one moment. We need to have a proper analysis of our own. We look at all allegations seriously, but we do not regard that anything has been proven here.
It is strike me the slightest bit odd that there should have been at least 5 of these receipts produced on inkjet printers rather than the sort of receipts you'd expect to find.
Since when is there anything in Sharia law about receipts not being produced on inkjet printers by mosques? Many of whose authorities, including, it might be added, Al-Manar, do not deny in their own testimony to you, Newsnight, in the aborted broadcast, which you did not produce, Al-Manar do not deny that they have a problem with rogue sellers. They specifically told it to your reporter, Richard Watson.
And that would be the explanation, would it, for the fact that these receipts have the wrong addresses on them, 4 of them?
You will have to ask those who supplied those within the
Again, you
mosque.
apparently checked these receipts so you would know that they were the wrong addresses.
No, we didn't. They were supplied by people within the mosques. The mosques acknowledge, Al-Manar in particular, they have a problem with rogue
The
sellers.
mosques deny it.
But they have it. We have it from Newsnight. We have it in your draft broadcast of the 29th of October by Richard Watson. You have the material on camera in your own archive.
Well, of course, the way to settle this would be obviously to be to talk to the researchers, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Will you facilitate that?
Well, they have been facilitated. They've spoken to Peter Barron. They've spoken
no,
to
they
Peter-
haven't.
Yes, they have. I
They
was
haven't.
witness. I was a witness to it, Jeremy. You've been misbriefed. I was a witness to it with a whole stack of other people.
There were
Peter Barron
how many researchers
to us.
were there?
There were 8 researchers.
And they've all spoken to the editor of Newsnight,
No,
have they?
they were brought on.
Just
The one
what you
in
said.
question was brought on.
One researcher.
Yes,
spoke.
that was the one he asked to speak to, and he was brought on. We then brought another one on. We have cross-examined
We have asked to
ourselves.
speak to all the researchers.
Yes, but these people are under threat. You have yourself described
So
how...
you just said they spoke to the editor of Newsnight.
Yes,
I've
but
asked
they
you now
are-
if we can speak to them, and you say no, we can't.
Well, it's pretty understandable, isn't it? You've heard of something called Salman Rushdie, and they've seen how leaky
It
Newsnight
may,
is.
it
They
may
saw
be
how your
perfectly
report...
understandable, but it is not consistent with your claim that they've spoken to the editor of this program.
Yes, I listened to one of them speak to the other,
One-
and one of the other ones has
one
spoken
person.
to Richard Watson. So, in fact, the idea that we've been sheltering these people from Newsnight is nonsense, but they are quite rightly reluctant to come and talk to your reporters when you have turned out, Newsnight has turned out to be such a massively leaky vessel. So we're exclusive reports leaking to the Sunday Times beforehand, to the Asian Online Network. Come on, this is a very leaky vessel. Nobody would want to take
Those are
and I might
accusations
add-
you cannot prove, and we would deny.
Sorry, I
No,
have it.
perfect.
I can prove it.
Hang on,
because
we're
I
not
have it on the record.
We're
from
not the
Sunday
people who
Times.
produce something which
I have it
turns
on the
out to be based on dodgy evidence, like this report of yours.
Sorry, you've just
Do you
heard.
still stand by it, do you?
100%.
No, we didn't leak any... But that's
You
neither
did.
here nor... That's
It
neither
is,
here
when
nor
you
there.
say it's not here
The
or
question
there,
is the
we call
authenticity of this report, which, as you know, generated a real hornet's nest. And it turns out to be based upon evidence that was deeply unreliable. You know, if you were to say
You've
to
gone
me now-
through this. You've had this report for 6 weeks.
Yes.
You've found paltry amounts
Hang on a
of
second.
evidence. You've had this report.
How many
for
mosques
6 weeks.
did you actually find evidence
A total,
in,
we've visited
according
a
to
total
you?
of 100 mosques.
Yes, and in how many did you claim to find evidence of this literature
And
being
in 26
disseminated?
we have.
26 you claim you
Right.
found it, and in 6 of those we have found evidence that the receipts are unreliable.
And you've also found the evidence that they cannot deny the literature. Look at the gentleman there from the Tawhid Mosque denying the connection with the literature. When your receipt, which you yourself show on the programme, shows an intimate connection between Tawhid Mosque and the bookshop next door. Intimate connection. The books are all written by somebody called Sheikh Abdullah bin Baz, who is the founder of the mosque. The leading scholar at the mosque, Suhaib Hassan, is a pupil of bin Baz. Bin Baz is one of the main
This is neither here nor there. The question is the authenticity of your evidence.
The issue is community cohesion in this country. The issue is the literature that is freely available.
And your
to
report
many
has
of these-
contributed, has it, to community cohesion in this country?
The people who have undermined
You
community
stand by it all?
cohesion, I stand by it all. The people who undermine community cohesion are those who are producing books such as Women Who Deserve to Go to Hell, the ones who are producing anti-Semitic and homophobic literature. They are the ones who, as it were, should be questioned. And it's amazing to me that on an entirely tertiary issue, Newsnight could devote a 17-minute package having ignored a report that has been looked at.
Authenticity is all, as you well know.
And it remains authentic. It remains 100% authentic.
All right,
Jeremy.
Dawson.
The big problem is with Newsnight, with Peter Barron's appalling stewardship of this probe.
Dean Dawson, thank you. Now, as Messi